I got a whole lot of good players, man. Do what you do and be a star at that.
Gritty, not pretty. That's who we want to be.
Pickett has to shoot at the wire. Does. Got it. And Johnson for three. Let's go. Fabulous play.
That's all it is. It's pure effort, heart, determination, and a love for Penn State.
Dredd steps back, waits, fires the three. It's gone. The Lions win it.
Make Penn State proud.
And Penn State clicking on all cylinders, up and does it.
This joint loves it. Now they go for three in the lead. Lundy gone. Penn State's in front.
And we welcome you into Penn State Basketball Media Day Live as we get set for the 2022-2023 season. The Bryce Jordan Center ready to rock this year. Hard to believe we're just 2 weeks away from the opener against Winthrop here at the Bryce Jordan Center. Brian Tripp, thrilled to be with you here today. We'll hear from head coach Micah Shrewsberry as he enters his second year at the helm of the Nittany Lions in just a moment from the podium. We'll also be joined exclusively on our set throughout the show by head coach Micah Shrewsberry after his press conference to the general media and by student athletes today. So that podium will be occupied by the head coach in just moments. Let's take a quick look at the Nittany Lions schedule for this 2022-2023 season before the head coach kicks things off today. Penn State and Winthrop less than 2 weeks from today on November 7th gets things started here at the BJC. The first three games all at home, then Penn State neutral site in the Charleston Classic. Can't wait for this year. You have the Big Ten ACC Challenge with Clemson and Michigan State and Illinois there in December in Big Ten play. Should be a great 2022-2023 season for the Nittany Lions. One also to circle there, the 8th of January against Purdue. That is going to be at the Palestra, and fans' tickets for the game at the Palestra are going to go on sale on November 8th. So mark that on your calendar. Penn State and Purdue back at the Palestra, what should be a great day of basketball. January 8th, 2023. Follow Penn State Ben's basketball on social media, where many of you are watching today. Say hello. Let us know where you're watching from. Great to be with you here on Media Day Live at Penn State MBB on Twitter. You can follow Penn State Basketball on Facebook, and also you can find Penn State Basketball on Instagram. But there's a great shot of the Bryce Jordan Center ready to rock here in the 2022-2023 season. Penn State last year, 14-17 overall, had that great run in the Big Ten tournament. And now here's head coach Micah Shrewsberry to kick off the new season.
Set. All right. How's everybody doing? Good. Well, just appreciate everybody coming out today and kind of getting this opportunity to get a chance to talk to our guys, kind of open up the season maybe officially or getting closer to official. It's 13 days away. So the closer we get, like, the more hair you lose as a head coach in terms of, like, what haven't we covered? What do we still have to get in? Like, the more nervous you start to get. Like, even if you have everything in that you want to get in, you just still feel a little bit nervous. But, I'm excited about it. And, want to thank you guys again for coming and looking forward to working with everybody this year. Any questions that you have throughout the year, please send them to Chelsea. That's anything. That's like style of play. That's, the amount of threes, free throw percentage, rebounding, cooking ideas, any of that stuff. I'm excited about our team. I like our team. I think every coach in America will say that right now, right? If you don't, I don't know what today is, October 25th. If you don't like your team on October 25th, it's going to be a long season, man. But, I like our group, and not so much from just the strictly basketball piece. I like who they are as people. I like how we compete as a group. I like how we go after each other, and then it's over. Like when it's over, and they come back the next day and compete the same way. I love how when practice is over, everybody stays and shoots. Everybody stays and works on their game and gets shots up. There's a culture of hard work, and that kind of starts from the top of from our older guys and has trickled down through our younger guys, and our younger guys are doing a great job pushing our older guys. So that part is fun to me. When you start to see, everybody talks about culture, right? To me, culture is not words, culture is actions. And, we want to be a development program. We want to be a program that values hard work. And you're starting to see it. You're seeing the actions. Not me saying it. It's people doing it. And that's, how a culture is built and sustained. So I think that started, really with John last year. Like being who he was, being that leader for us, kind of setting that tone, and then the guys that were here kind of feeding off of that. So, I think that was a great start for us in terms of if there was anything that you can build off of from last year, it was that. And now it's starting to get established who we are and how we're going to play and what we're going to do. So we got a great group of older guys. I'm excited about the guys that are returning that have been here. You're seeing differences in their games, more comfortable. Jalen Pickett, has been our best player from day one in practices. And, that we look for that to continue. We need him to have a good year for us to be good. And I think he's primed to do that. Seth Lundy looks so much more comfortable in terms of who he is as a player, what we need him to be offensively and defensively. And, as we were coming back this Sunday and I was watching film on the bus, like just a simple defensive play that he made, that he wasn't making plays like this last year, not at this time last year. His understanding as a defensive player of the total game, not just guarding my own guy and trying to shut him down. It's now being a really good team defender as well as being a lockdown defender individually. I think he's grown in leaps and bounds. I think he's grown as a player also offensively. Miles Dredd, Dalian Johnson, Caleb Dorsey, like the same exact way. They're so comfortable with what we're doing, how we want to play, and everything else. The guys that we brought in that are transfers have fit in seamlessly. That's the bonus of having 5th year or 7th year transfers. They understand college basketball. They understand what hard work looks like. They want to be a part of success, and they fit in seamlessly into our culture. And then, our young class, the 5 freshmen are like, they're pushing everybody. Being a freshman's hard. Like, you have 8 guys on the roster that have played in college basketball games, played multiple college basketball games, that are in practice, playing really fast without thinking. And they're trying to play at the same speed, and it's hard as a freshman. You're still thinking about what you're supposed to do. So you get behind plays at times. So, like, we expect big things from them. I don't know when it's going to be, right? It could be, and you got one of them play unbelievable on November 7th and be terrible November 10th. But somebody else is really good on the 10th who wasn't very good on the 7th. I think all of them have a chance to help us. I think all of them will have a chance to be impactful for us. But it might not be all 5 of them at the same time. And their kind of scale or gauge for when they're ready is all going to be upon them. So, we're looking forward to it. We have a tough opponent November 7th to start the season. Winthrop's a really good program, really good returning group of guys that, was one game from going to NCAA tournament. So, we're anxious to get in here. We're anxious to get in the BJC. We're anxious to see, I hear about the buzz of people that are excited about basketball. Like, I won't see it on November 7th. I'm looking forward to that, to see, come out and see our guys, come out and see how hard we're going to play, and then come back after that. So, open for questions if anybody has any.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
I'm great.
Great to hear. We saw Keba's physical transformation this summer. How has he brought that onto the court, and what did you see from him sort of in the first real action you could get Sunday?
Yeah, he the surprising thing was that his physical transformation happened, like some of it happened before he even got here. I think that's the beauty of recruiting guys that aren't fully developed, in high school, right? There's different ages, different stages of people. There was actually an article yesterday that talked about the birthdays of college and NBA stars that was out there. And like, he's a prime example of that. Who we signed and who we watched on that signing day video is a completely different player in person right now. Like, the kid turned 18 first day of classes. Like, that's unprecedented. But he changed, and he works really hard on his game. He works really hard on his body. He works really hard in the classroom. He's going to be a good player for us. I don't know when. Right? He's still a freshman. He's still going to have ups and downs as we go. But, I think, there's going to be times where it's going to look like he's a senior out there, and there's going to be times where he looks like he should still be in high school. But, playing against people, he needs reps. He needs reps. That's the biggest thing. I think all freshmen do. Right? That's the hardest part for me right now is we have a bunch of older guys that don't need reps, right? They got a lot of tread on the tires, but we got younger guys that do need it. So how we formulate practice plans, how much we play, how much we do is tricky because, Jalen Pickett played 9,475 minutes last year, right? He doesn't need to be doing every single drill in practice, but Evan Mahaffey does. Keba Jai does. So figuring that out. So those guys need reps. They'll make mistakes, but hopefully these older guys can cover for them until they can be mistake free at some point in time this year.
Nate and then Mark.
I think that lends itself well. Do you have an ability to speed the process of cohesion? Are there things that you can do to maybe speed that up? And whether that's true or not, is there a point in the season where you'd like to benchmark for yourself, hey, that we'd like to be playing the way that we want to play? Yeah,
I don't know if there's a particular time that we're looking for. I think we continue to get better as we go, try and grow from each experience. So whether that's getting better from one practice to the next or one game to the next, just trying to grow in those areas. I don't know how you speed it up, right? Like I said, they need as many reps as possible. Playing against other people is important. I went back and watched, I'm currently watching our first scrimmage last year. We scrimmaged George Mason about this time last year. And I was like, we were a terrible defensive team at that point in time. Right. But we got better as the year went on. We were bad early in the year. All right. You watch this. UMass torched us. Ohio State came in and torched us. Like, we got better as it went on. But playing other people helps. And I think that helps us. We have great cohesion off the court. So I believe we're not where we need to be from a technical standpoint. But I think from a trust standpoint, we are. I don't know, like, you lose games late, and like, that's where you see the cohesion of a group, right? Like, you get late in games when you really trust each other, when you really believe in each other, you pull out some late game victories. That's probably where our team was hurt the most, right? We didn't have the full summer kind of COVID free where we could do a bunch of things together. Guys were arriving at different times throughout the summer. We had almost everybody here the whole summer. So we went 8 weeks where we're doing stuff every single week. Excuse me. Just building off the court who we are. And I think that's celebrated. Like, the little things, like, you guys may see, like, anytime somebody does something on Instagram, everybody posts it. Like, that's like little stuff. It's stupid stuff. But it's genuine. In terms of our guys, some people just do it just because, right? I'm supposed to. They said it. They told me to. But, like, they do it because they really like each other. They really believe in each other. They really want to see each other succeed. I think that was built through the summer months.
Can you speak to Evan's versatility and, how many different areas can you play him, and how helpful is it to have a player like that depth wise, or if he starts whatever, but just be able to plug in and play him just about anywhere? Thanks.
Yeah. When you see him, Mark, if you ask him questions out there, tell him I said to stay down on shot fakes. I love his versatility, his ability to play a bunch of different positions, his ability to think on the floor and play fast. He gives you a different dimension where he can guard on the perimeter, but he can also come from the weak side and block your shot above the rim. And it gives us more flexibility defensively. He helps some other guys that, maybe not as mobile as a defensive rebounder, where he can track down some rebounds all over the court. I think those things will stand out. I think for him to help us early, really all of our freshmen, the biggest thing for him, I was like, hey, make these older guys better. Whatever you do, how do you get on the floor? You make those guys better. So how can you make Jalen Pickett better? Like, how can you make Cam Winter better? How can you make Andrew Funk better? Like, that's what they're trying to do right now. I think Evan's versatility allows us to do that, allows us to play a lot of different ways, allows us to switch more and do things like that. So he's getting there. He's going to be impactful for us. And if he stays down on shot fakes, he's going to be really good.
Andrew and Ben.
Back here. We saw you guys practice about 2 weeks ago. One thing that jumped out to me was size. You guys significantly bigger than you were a season ago. When you watch tape from last year, is that apparent to you how much bigger you are this year? And in what ways have you seen that size help you game plan and be more flexible this summer?
Yeah, it's and the crazy thing is, I still feel like we're pretty small. Like, you'll start to see us as we go. I think that's throughout the years when you start to see our recruiting classes. We have our skill level where we want it right now with this team. Now we start to add the same skill level in bigger, longer, more athletic guys. So I think as you start to see some classes come in, you want to see that more because of that versatility, right? That's when you want to really be kind of a terror for people defensively and offensively when you get to that. I think the size and the versatility helps us. You guys, no secret that I don't think you combat true size with bad size, right? Like, you don't just Zach Edey 7'4", let's go find a 7'4" guy at the mall and throw him on the court. Like, it's probably not going to work. He's still going to have an advantage on both ends because that guy can't play. So, like, what can we have at our size that we can get to combat what they do? So whether that's size on the interior or size on the perimeter, all those things are helpful in terms of what we're looking for. So we're not there yet. We're getting there. But, I think when you see us get off the bus, at least we look like a Big Ten team.
How's it going, Micah?
That's great. How are you doing? Good to see you again.
I know. I'm just following you around the country, or you're following me. Kind of going off the big stuff. John gave you, for whatever his strengths or weaknesses were, a guy to lean on in that area. And as well as anybody how much the Big Ten relies on big guys in the interior. How do you balance getting Keba sort of ready without, throwing him head first into the fire and worrying not maybe about his confidence, but just sort of that balance of he might be your best option in some regards, but also he might be the most raw.
Yeah, it's it's quite the challenge. Like, just because you need different things from different people, and all of our guys, like John was awesome, and the crazy thing is nobody ever got back to me. I sat up here. I started this early last year about the John campaign for a 6th year, and like the Big Ten, like Penn State administration, like, you guys never helped me. Like, nobody signed the petition to get him back except for me. It was like a petition of one. So John's in Spain, and unfortunately I don't get to head coach him this year. Appreciate you guys. But like Keba is he's what we got, right? Like, Meech is what we got. Caleb, Mikey, whoever it is. but they can't be John. Like it's impossible. I don't think anybody is. He's one of one in terms of how hard you play, how physical he is, how smart he became. Now it's about getting those guys to that point. And, it may not be on, I get my dates mixed up, but in our first Big Ten game in December, right? He might not be exactly where we need him to be. But like, can we get him better in December, in January, in February? And like, he needs to keep ascending, right? There can't be like a freshman wall where it's just like, all right, this dude is done in February and he's got nothing left for you. We got to keep him growing and keep getting better and better. So now you see him at the end of the year, you're like, wow, he's made a difference. I think our team got better in that way last year. I think individually we can do that. These guys they have a thirst for learning. There's more guys that come up and watch film this year. I think that starts, like, I tell those guys all the time about, Jaden Ivey, like as a freshman, how much he came to watch film. And he started the year really slow, and then he got better, and then he got better. And then by March, he was averaging 20 points in the tournament, the Big Ten tournament, in the regular season. Like, these guys watch film, like, every day, whether it's on, after practice, off days, before practice. They're learning on the court. They're learning off the court. So I don't think it's a confidence thing. I think, it's our job to continue to build him up in terms of who he is as a player. But yeah, there's going to be really good guys out there. He's going to see some firepower that he's probably never seen before. He's going to see it in these scrimmages, and it's going to be great for him. But he also played against some guys too that were really good when he was at La Lumiere. So I'm not worried about that. His brother's 7 feet. Like, he plays at SMU. His dad's built like an oak tree. So playing in the driveway against them is probably taking some of his confidence too. So he's played against big guys. I think he'll be ready. But it's our job to have him fired up, ready to go, but be complementary to what we need on both ends. He doesn't have to be our leading scorer. He just has to fight for us. He just has to rebound for us and be really effective.
Hey, Micah. So how's it been developing the freshman class since you didn't really have one last year? And what's the biggest thing you've learned so far from developing the freshman class?
They, like I said, they got a thirst for knowledge. Like, they all want to be good. They all want to be better. They learn a lot in practice. There's days, and they're different. And this, like I said, this might happen during the season. There's days where, like, Jameel Brown can be unbelievable. And then the next day you're like, was Jameel here at practice today? Because Kanye's like really good. And like Evan's really good. And then like Kebo will have days where he just looks like $1 million. It's like, holy smokes. Like, these guys have potential, but they have to put it together day after day after day, right? That's what these fifth-year guys do. So that's their challenge. Their challenge is none of these guys have ever had to, like, not start a game. None of these guys have ever probably sat more than they've played. That'll be a challenge for them. How do you respond when you haven't, when your opportunities are smaller than, maybe you want them to be, maybe you've ever had them become. But they work. Like, these dudes work like crazy. And they're always here. They're always working. They're always doing what they need to do. They're the foundation of what this program is going to be. And when you get a chance to see them, I want you to see them at their best. But they're going to have bad days. So, we all do. But they're going to be really good players for us. They all bring a different element. They all fit together. That's the main thing. Like, there's not 4 Meaches, right? And now Meach is looking around like, how am I ever going to get a chance to play? They all fit together in some way. So they all complement each other. They all make each other better. But they all can make they all make our older guys better as well. So there's games where we're going to use one over the other, and then the next game we can use the other one more than the first one. So it'll be a process throughout this whole year.
Hey, Micah, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Going to the veterans, Andrew Funk is someone who I think over the summer you talked about, someone coming in where he doesn't have to be the guy anymore. He's not going to be the focal point of opposing defenses. How have you kind of seen him go into that role? And when you have a player that is kind of going into a new role like that, do you see a change in them? How do you see them kind of change with that, I guess?
Yeah, Andrew fit like from day one with his personality, with kind of like I talked about, the routine of hard work. Like he's old, man. He's got a routine that he does every single day. Like he comes in and gets his shots up on his own and does it. Like it's consistent. And then when you get to the practice court, when you get in games, right, you see why. You see why he does it every single day. He doesn't need time to get his shot off. He's probably never gotten this many clean looks since he was playing with Colin Gillespie in high school, right? Like, you go from being number one on the scouting report down a little bit, down a notch or two. It just frees you up. You don't have the best guy guarding you every single time. Now he's going to have people guard him, right? Because everybody knows who can shoot. But he's got gravity, right? He pulls the defenses in different ways just because of his presence on the court. So it may not always be him scoring. It could just be people worried about where he is, which opens up driving lanes, which opens up post-ups, and everything else. But when he gets a clean look and it doesn't go down, I'm surprised. All right, there's days where I'm like, man, Funk didn't shoot it well today. Then you go back and look at the stat sheet. You're like, oh, he's 4 for 9. Like, yeah, he did. He did shoot it well. You're just surprised when he misses, just because of the time he puts in, how quick he can get it off. You think you're there and you're not. You're not there because he gets it off so quick. But he's also got a little bit of game to him as well, where if you take his shot away, he's not like done. He's not, he's got some game to him where he can get by, he can get to the rim, he can score it in different ways. So it's good to have another guy that people have to focus on. People have to know where he is at all times. People got to find him, and it'll open up things for other people.
Hi, Micah. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Pretty good, man. How would you describe some of the lessons that you learned from yourself and your coaching style and the team in Big Ten play, and how is that going to change or develop here in year 2?
Yeah, I don't know about myself, right? Like I'm like, I don't think I'll ever be a finished product, right? You have to learn, you have to continue to learn every single year. Right before I came down here, I was calling Coach Painter, asking about a double team question, like just something that we went through. So I'm trying to constantly evolve and continue to grow as a coach. I know we need to be better earlier, right? Like we played Michigan State the second game of the year of Big Ten, and they ran us through the gym. We play them to start the Big Ten this year. So like, transition defense better be pretty good on that date, whatever it is, right? It needs to be good now. It needs to be good when we play Winthrop and whoever else. But like, I know when that one comes up, like we better be good in our transition. There's a feel for, I have a pretty good feel for what we need to do. How we've practiced, how we've worked on different things. We're doing more late game situations, right? Because that's where we needed to get better. Let's get as many of those in as possible and work on all of these in different ways where it's, not just our older guys, it's our younger guys that are getting better at this. And now there's things that I'm trying to think of as well, or even with our staff, like, just talking to them about how they can help me in late game situations. So we've gone through it all together. You feel better going into this next year. Still probably won't be perfect. I hope we will, but just be better, especially late games, closing things out, put us in a different position in the standings.
Micah, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Kind of piggybacking off his question. You've got a year under your belt now. What are some of the biggest takeaways from last season, and how do you feel, if any, you've evolved, during that year in terms of like your coaching philosophy or your approach to things? Thanks.
I think like the level of comfort in terms of what we want to do, the level of comfort with our whole staff, right? Having staff continuity is huge. You don't necessarily, even though we have 5 freshmen, 3 other new guys, got 8 new guys. Last year we had, I don't even know, same amount. We had 100 new guys and a whole new staff, right? So like I had to teach everything, right? So the practices are longer. You're standing up, you're talking, but you're like, we got to meet beforehand because I got to talk to our staff about how we're going to guard things, how we're going to do things. Like now we don't have to as much, right? They understand what we're trying to do. They understand how to teach it. We do a lot more, try and do a lot more breakdown stuff where those guys are leading it, where I can take a step back and watch a little bit more and come in and correct when I need to. So that part's been really good, really helpful. To frees me up to do some more things in terms of what we need to do, how we need to get better, looking at different things like, offensively and defensively as we're going into the non-conference and then the conference part of it. So that's been the biggest difference is, you don't have to coach everything. Just having we have a really good staff. It's guys that are really good recruiters, guys that are really good coaches, guys that are really good connectors of people. I think allowing them to shine more and do more just because they're not learning all the time. Now they're really comfortable in what they're doing, and I think that'll start to come out more with our whole program.
Hey, Micah, how are you?
I'm good.
So you mentioned Jalen Pickett was, your best player since day one. I'm wondering, what has he done to develop his game? And, was there a moment in the offseason where you were like, okay, this guy's probably our best player?
He he's won pretty much every time. That's a huge factor in it. He shot the ball better. I think just his overall confidence as a player is starting to come back. Right? Where there was a little bit of timidness last year at the start because everything was new. And then as the season went on, you could see him getting better and better and more comfortable. Like the timidness part wasn't there at all this year when we started. And, he's kind of attacked in different ways, whether that, face up and driving, whether that be in the post, whether that be making threes. He's kind of doing it in a lot of different ways, still getting assists, still passing, still defending, and doing all those other things. I think our first day that we had a full team kind of workout together, I put him on the team with all the freshmen, and they completely dominated in day one. It was like eye-opening. But he was so good, right? Like the other guys didn't have to do much. Stand out there and make shots or drive, when he drew a bunch of help. It's been much more even since then, as we mix things up. But that was really eye-opening on day one. He prepared his body. He's doing more in the weight room. He's doing more with his strength and flexibility in the training room. I think he wants to be better. And I think he's prepared his body to be better. And I think that's really helped him as well.
Micah, where are you guys at from a team health perspective, and how do you manage? I know you said about, maybe Pick and Funk don't need every drill, but how do you manage that leading up to the opener?
Yeah, that's we're pretty healthy for the most part. I think we've had guys banged up here and there. So there's guys with, a little bit here, like Miles may have like a calf injury or Funk's shoulder or like nothing that's really kept anybody out of practice. Where, guys have missed maybe a day and then been back. Demetrius Lilly's been the one. He's been out a little bit. He's been out a couple of weeks. He's kind of working into practice now. a little bit at a time. But then you have to, when you miss time like that, you have to like make sure you're back physically. So like he's easing back into things where we can't rush it. You just don't want anybody to get hurt as they're coming back from an injury, but nothing like major kind of stuff. So that's where we're at. You feel pretty, knock on wood, right? You read something every day about some team that some guys out for the season or some guys out till January. Like we've been really fortunate where we haven't, had anything like that. And that's important too, right? We're practicing shorter, right? Because we need to, just to save these guys, but we also don't have to teach as much as we did earlier in the season. So we're getting in, we're competing against each other, and then we're getting out and making sure guys stay healthy. And that's huge. Like last year we went through with a bunch where guys were out, and it's hard to practice. Right? It's hard to put two teams together and still be competitive against each other, where when you have everybody, you can split it up, and there are guys that you have two even teams of guys that are competing against each other, and you still get a really good practice segment while also getting guys a break when they need it too. So I don't know if this is wood, but we want to stay right where we're at. Thank you, guys.
Head coach Micah Shrewsberry at the podium. He'll join us here live on our set as you take a look at the Bryce Jordan Center. We're less than 2 weeks away from Penn State's opener against Winthrop. Here at the BJC, team that returns 4 starters and 8-letter winners from the Big Ten's best scoring defense last year. 3 grad transfers who combined for more than 3,600 points, 1,200 rebounds, and 900 assists with 341 career D1 games under their belt, and the top-ranked freshman recruiting class in program history. But Coach Shrewsberry will join us on set. Then we'll go back to the podium and join Miles Dredd, Seth Lundy, and Jalen Pickett in progress and hear from individuals throughout the course of the day here on Media Day Live from the Jordan Center. But before we're joined by Coach Shrewsberry, let's take a listen in to see what it sounds like at one of those Penn State basketball practices with the head coach.
I got a whole lot of good players, man. Each and every one of you. How you make him better? How you make him better? Do what you do and be a star at that. You got to roll and sprint. Sprint, sprint. Good, here we go. Good, Caleb. It's your basketball, right? Go get it. Roll. Good, Mikey. Way to get through there. Finish that. Good job. I mean, you don't have to shoot it. Make him think you're going to shoot it, though. But I should be thinking, how can I make a play right here? Boom. They take it away. Now I'll run the action. Boom. Go, Funk. Deliver. That's tough, Seth. You throw it. Keep coming this way, because if he drives it, now that's your shot behind the ball. Cut. Cut. Yeah, Dow. I like it, Dalian. I like it, Dalian. I want to see that rescreen, then I move, okay? Yes, Dalian! Yeah, Dow! Yeah, White! I love it!
Love to hear the sights and sounds of a Penn State basketball practice with head coach Micah Shrewsberry. You're watching Media Day Live for the 2022-2023 Penn State men's basketball season. Wherever you're watching from today, let us know. Comment in our comment section or reply on Facebook, Twitter, whatever it may be. You let us know where you're watching. Coming up live on our set, we'll also be joined today by Seth Lundy, Cameron Winter, Kevin Jai, Andrew Funk, and Miles Dredd, all coming up here on our set as well through the course of our Media Day Live programming live from the Bryce Jordan Center. But he just got done at the podium. The second-year head coach of the Nittany Lions, Micah Shrewsberry, is joining us live on our set now. And, Coach, I heard I could ask you any questions, so should I ask best tailgate recipe to start here? You just said that we could ask about cooking in the press conference.
Yeah, I'm ready for anything. I don't have any great tailgate recipes for you, but put a bunch of seasoning on the burger, I guess. That's mine. I was going to say something, but they're not a sponsor yet, so I'm not going to say anything about it. But
I know you're
throw
ready.
some Utz on top of a burger. It'd be pretty good.
I know you are ready for the upcoming season, though. What has it been to be around these guys as your hours expand? It's a long off season, but as you can get a real feel for the sense that the first game's upon us in 2 weeks.
It is. You look, it's like, wow, 13 days. You feel like there's a lot you've done. But then there's so much left too. But I like our guys. I like what we've done. I like the feel every day in practice. I love how we work, and I'm excited. I'm excited. It's good to be here. It's good to be in the BJC, but I can't wait until this place is full once we start playing.
Some of the people have changed, but as you go into year number 2 as head coach, to know the players, the program, the institutional knowledge, how would you compare where you're at this time this year compared to this time last year?
We feel much better. We're an older group with a bunch of young guys, tagging along with us, and just the amount of basketball games, the amount of basketball knowledge, having staff continuity, which I talked about in the press conference. You feel better from year 1 to year 2. Like who we want to be, how we want to play, has all been established. Now we need to build off of that and take what we did, take the good things of what we did. Reshape the things we didn't do well, and now go in, at a much higher level.
You have an identity, you have a personality that you want to play with, but all great coaches also adjust to the personnel and the roster that they have. What does this year's roster, without giving any X's and O's away, allow you to do as a head coach?
I think we have a little more firepower offensively. Right? I think, there's no secret that we struggled at times to score the basketball last year. So having more guys that, are built-in scores. Jalen Pickett, who's scored, over 1,500 points in his career. Adding a Cam Winter, who's scored 1,600. Andrew Funk at 1,200. Seth Lundy, who's going to join these guys in the 1,000-point club at some point in this season. Miles Dredd, close to it. You got 5 or 6 guys that are proven scorers at this level, are proven scorers of the basketball in college. And now, there's not one guy that you can really focus on. Now there's 3 or 4 guys that can beat you at any point in time.
Because of their skill set, their talent, but also their experience, how do those guys, and they're all backcourt guys that you're mentioning there for the most part, how do they drive what you do on the court, but also with their leadership, the culture, with so many new faces coming in too?
I think the leadership has been the biggest part, especially with the new guys. The new guys have fit in seamlessly. They go right along with Jalen, Miles, Seth, those guys that have been here. Andrew, Cam, Mikey, it's like they've been here their entire careers as well. Just because they've been a part of teams. They want to do something special. They want to take advantage of their last year. Like, what can they do here to help us be good? And I think they've all blended. This whole group has blended really well together.
I think that leads me right into my next question. Where do you turn? Look, John played a valuable role on the floor, but also those intangibles. Are those the guys who have stepped up to replace some of the intangibles that John laid the foundation for last year?
I think so. You talk about the guys that were here in Miles and Seth and Jalen. Then you add in Dalian Johnson. You add in Caleb Dorsey. A group of guys that were around John, right? They had a chance to be with him for a couple of years, especially the 2 younger guys, Dalian and Caleb. But they've kind of taken on his persona. Like, what did he do to be successful? How did he help everybody else become successful? And now those guys are taking it, kind of running with it. So you see him grabbing other guys. You see him grabbing the freshmen. You see him grabbing the new guys. And they're the ones that are talking about who we want to be, right? Cultures, it's comes from the player, right? Or it comes from the coach. But, the players do it. It's theirs. It's their culture in terms of how they get it instilled throughout a program, and they're doing that. You're seeing that, and when things aren't at their best, right? It's a long preseason. Every day in practice hasn't been great, but when they see those moments, they're the ones that step up and say something about it.
Because the way college sports have changed the last 5-10 years, transfers aren't a new thing. But when you have Andrew, Cam, and Mikey coming in, you have an idea because of what you see on film, what they can do. But when you get to see them on the court in the actual practice gym for your team, how do they fit with what you want to do on the floor?
It's been, like I said, it's been seamless in terms of how they've kind of mixed in with our guys. We knew, through film, what they were going to bring to us to an extent, right? You don't know exactly until you get them there. But now that you have them, it's like these guys fit us, and that's who we wanted to have here. So whether that be those guys, whether it be the freshmen, we talk about what our culture is. And it's like, you guys become us when you get here, right? We don't become you, and we didn't have to do anything. Like, those guys became us, and they fit right into what we wanted to do, and they've been great additions.
You talked a lot about the freshmen in your press conference, so I don't want to repeat any of those questions. But one thing James Franklin talked about this year with football is how the freshman class really changed the complexion of his entire roster. Now that you see this group here, how have they changed the way that your roster is formed and the overall depth that you have as well, not just the individual talents that they are?
Yeah, I think the added depth, the ability to allow us to have more guys to go to, the ability to put a couple teams together. Like I could put those 5 guys together in practice and they can go out and compete against the older guys.
Mm-hmm.
And, technically they might not be there yet in terms of how sound they need to be on each end, but they can compete and they love to go against them. So the competition level has gone way up. Like what they're doing, the pace of our practices, everything else, but they're also pushing them. Like these guys are in the gym all the time. They're working. You see Big Meech back there getting some work in before practice. These guys are here before practice. They stay after practice, and it's kind of created that culture of like, this is what we do. Like if you don't stick around and work on your game, like you stand out like a sore thumb around here.
As a coach, I know you're hungry to see the team in competition, but you also feel like there's not enough hours in the day with the guys to make sure you can get everything in. So what do you emphasize in the next 13 days between now and Winthrop?
I think we're right now talking about the small tweaks that we need to make to get us where we need to be. We're not going to be perfect in terms of how we play, but there's a couple key areas defensively that we need to clean up.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple things offensively where we need to get better. And now, can we go in feeling good about it? And we're heading that way. Like, we had a test this Sunday against another team. We got another scrimmage coming up this Sunday. That allows us to put some mistakes on film or show them what we're doing well on film. And now learn from that, build up this week, have another one next week, and then start getting ready for Winthrop November 7th. So there's a couple areas where we have to sharpen up, where we got to be good, where we're clicking on all cylinders right out of the gates.
And the last thing, since we're sitting here in the Jordan Center, it'll be packed on November 7th.
Yeah.
Can't emphasize enough how important the fans are to what you want to do here at home.
I go around and I love living here. I love this town. I love Penn Staters, no matter where they are, across this great state, across this country, that have reached out to me and told me about how excited they are about basketball. And we've had an unbelievable fall at Penn State, and I want to follow up what these teams are doing right now, and starting it in that way. But the excitement of November the 7th, seeing this place full, these guys, they really deserve it in terms of what they've done and with their work, how they're working in the off season, the schedule that we've put together. We have good opponents coming in here to play, but we need them. We need everybody in Nittany Nation to show up for us, and we're going to play as hard as we can. We're going to be as sound as we can. Hopefully we're a fun team to watch because we're flying up and down the court. We're shooting a bunch of threes and making a bunch of threes, and we're guarding people and playing with toughness. So they appreciate what we're doing when we're out here, and they want to come back and watch us even more.
Coach, thanks so much. Good luck this year.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Let's go back to the podium now. We'll join Seth Miles and Jalen in progress.
One, hear them and their experiences and what they can bring to the team, but it helps me teach them and learn, what they need to learn so that I can give them everything that I know about the game at this level.
Miles, what makes you equipped to guard the post?
Toughness, I guess. The mindset, I'm just not going to let this guy score. I've always been a stronger guy, and I have a low center of gravity. So I'm just have that stuck in my head. If I'm going to do something, if I'm going to be tasked with guarding somebody in the post, I might as well be good at it.
And if I could just follow real quick, do you think that sets an example for other guys on the team?
I hope it does. I'm sure it does, though. You're going to get stuck the way we guard. You're going to get stuck in multiple different places. You got to be prepared to guard anybody at any time. So, not being afraid to say, you know what, this guy might have me for this one possession. I'm going to get a stop, period.
We'll do that, and then last question.
Miles, you've been held together by duct tape for a while now. when you finally feel healthy, did you forget what feeling healthy felt like? I mean, is there sort of a reminding yourself that this is what your body can feel like when it's not held together by Dr.
Yeah, actually. I think it was actually Friday. You know, we had a lighter practice because we had a scrimmage on. It was on Saturday. We had a lighter practice because we had a scrimmage on Sunday, and I just felt like bouncing and moving around. I was like, man, this feels great. I was dunking the ball with both hands. Hadn't done that in a while. I was like, wow, this is crazy. It felt like a relief. Like, like I know that I can get back to this point, and now it's just keep striving to get better.
Miles, you know what it's like to be a spot-up shooter against Big Ten defenses. Can you tell us how equipped you think Andrew Funk is to handle what he's going to see in that league?
Well, my sophomore year, we were one of the best defensive teams in the country, even early on, and Andrew Funk lit us up here. So I think I was guarding him for a couple of those. But he's very well equipped. He's a taller guy, has a quick shot, hunts shots, and is not afraid to get him up. So I'm really excited to see his success this season. Thank you.
We'll continue live at the podium with Penn State men's basketball student athletes here on our Media Day live stream 2022-2023 in anticipation of the Penn State basketball season. Here's Jalen Pickett last up at the podium.
Thank you. Hey, Jalen, how's it going?
Great.
So what have you seen from yourself this offseason? Micah talked a lot about how you've been clearly the team's best player, and he's even said about not needing you to do every drill, and mentioned that he put you with the freshmen and you guys won immediately and it was just you and the freshmen. What have you seen from yourself from a growth standpoint that has allowed you to do those kinds of things?
I think definitely just being more comfortable in the system, having a year under my belt, knowing what he wants and how we're trying to play this year, definitely is going to be key for us. And then knowing the personnel that we have out there at all times, our freshmen are really good, they're good players and they're hungry. So, just trying to help them along and get them as comfortable as possible and, see where it goes.
We're obviously going to jump all over this thing about you playing with the freshmen on the first day of practice that Micah told us about. Can you tell us how that unfolded? Did you ask for that? Did the coaches decide to do it? And then what was your thought on how the freshmen played along with you?
I did not ask for that. And it was definitely a surprise to me. And, coming out there with the freshmen, seeing what they got, and, the first day, just seeing them come out and compete as hard as they did, shows me that we got to make it for a really good team. If those dudes are going to come out every day and push us to be better, we feel like we have something really special because it just helps us get better each and every day.
How does that help your confidence, though, knowing like these dudes just got here and you led them to a victory over guys that you've been playing with for a good bit now?
It was good. It was the first practice, so definitely, for us, it was, the seniors also with the transfers with Cam and Funk getting introduced to the system too. So, it wasn't like anybody was sharp, but just seeing the competitive nature of our team and just having so many guys. Last year we had a good group of guys, but this year we just have, 14, 15 guys we can play at any time. So we're deep. We're going to try and play faster. So it's just going to help us get better.
With this freshman, what has stood out to you since they've gotten here on campus, and where do you think they are with the season starting in a little less than 2 weeks?
They're definitely way further along than they were in the summer from that first day. Knowing what we'd like to do with the defensive calls, the offensive calls. But Keba and Meach are just two great big bodies, talented down low, and then our guards can really shoot it. With Kanye is a great playmaker, Millsy can shoot it, and Evan's in the gym every day working out. I see him throughout the day 2-3 times a day, keep working on his game. These guys aren't taking the backseat to nobody, and I love to see him come work.
So Micah said that you're, a little different physically this year. Obviously said best player on the team. Do you feel different this year? And then what areas do you think you've improved since last season?
Yeah, actually over the summer last season, I actually hurt my ankle. So I was out for a little bit. So I had a full summer this year, no injuries, fully healthy. And then I was able to really get a good lift in. Like when some of the guys left last year, I actually stayed up here in the summertime just to lift with Greg and, working my body that way to be as physically strong as possible. I know we play 4 guards, so we're going to be switching a lot. I just heard Miles say we're going to be switching and guarding the post, and seeing him fight down there has definitely helped me because we're going to have to give Miles a blow down there too when we're switching and doing different things like that. We're going to play small sometimes, so we're going to have to guard bigger people.
you play at your own pace in the pick and roll, right? And that can be tougher for a pick and roll partner to handle, especially bigs and younger bigs. How have you seen Keba and Meech kind of adapt to your pace and help you in the pick and roll so far this preseason?
Definitely. Those are two different styles that they play. Meech kind of plays a little bit more at my pace with how he rolls and different things like that. But Kevin likes to get out there, and be athletic, catch lobs and different things like that. But we definitely, like, after every practice and after some plays, we watch film. Me and John used to do that last year, try and get on the same page and watch film. So I'm actually watching more with them because they're not John, of course. They don't pick it up so fast, but just the communication piece of it. And they're just taking everything and they're learning from me, and I'm learning from them on what they want too. Because if we have that dialogue and they're happy and I'm happy, it just makes better for a good team.
Speaking of Keba, he's someone that we've heard a lot about from Micah, and it seems like he's made a pretty big impression. What was your first impression of him, and how have you seen him specifically come along?
First impression, I was like, wow, this is a really big kid. And then, I come up to him and I'm expecting like this, deep voice. And then he's like, hi, Jalen. Like he's just a young kid and he's always like happy and he's laughing. And, he's 17 going on 18, I think. He's just so young, but he's a good player and he's just full of energy all the time in the gym. So it's never a dull moment with Kepper. He's always got something to say.
You're talking about him being young. What's the value of patience right now with young guys, kind of balancing that out with what you want to do on the court, but at the same time, holding hands a little bit and kind of working each other through everything?
I think definitely just remembering that we were all freshmen at 1.2 coming in and how everything could be a head rush. And I was a young kid in the MAC, so I can't even imagine what he feels like right now at the Big Ten. But having so many older guys too, and guys that have been here with like a set coach, I think is also going to help him out. And he's taking it great, and Coach Shrew is doing a great job talking to him, and we're just trying to all help him along very slow.
You were named to the All Big Ten preseason team this year, a bunch with different members like Zach Edey and Hunter Dickinson. Do you feel any pressure with the expectations put on you?
No, not at all. I actually don't really, I see that stuff, but the season's a long way away. I've been picked to preseason teams all the time, and I know that, if you don't go put in that work throughout the year, that you won't get anything. And I think the main important thing for us is to win, because when you win, everybody gets awards and everybody gets what they want at the end of the season. I think that's the most important thing for our team. Thank you, guys.
So that's Jalen Pickett live at the podium as we take a look at the 2022-2023 Penn State men's basketball season schedule. As we said, 13 days away. Winthrop here, 3 straight to open up the 2022-2023 season. 3 straight here at home, including that game against Butler on the 14th, part of the Gavitt tip-off games. Then you have the neutral site tournament down in Charleston. The Big Ten opener is on the 7th against Michigan State. That is here at home. Michigan State and Illinois coming up in the month of December that Coach talked about a little bit ago at his press conference. Iowa then to kick off the new year as you jump back into the Big Ten. And obviously that matchup against Purdue on there. That's going to be at the Palestra in Philadelphia, where things are going really well right now in Philadelphia for Philadelphia sports teams. It's Penn State and Purdue. Tickets going on sale on November 8th at the Palestra. And folks, if you're watching today from campus, don't forget tomorrow we also have the Shrews Slamma Jamma coming up on campus. Meet the team, free food, contests, and more. That's at the East Hall Courts. That's tomorrow at 7 o'clock, the Shrews Slamma Jamma. Well, as we get set to be joined here by each of our student athletes on our set, let's take a look back as the Shrews Slamma Jamma is coming up tomorrow. We'll have a couple of big dunks, I have a feeling. We'll take a look back at the dunk contest from Nittanyville just last week. And we're joined by the Nittany Lions senior Seth Lundy here on set. A lot of great dunks out there at the Nittanyville Dunk Contest.
Yes, it definitely was. I was impressed, I'm not gonna lie.
What was the best part of interacting with the fans out there at Nittanyville?
Just talking to them. I see them at a lot of games. Well, probably every home game, and not really having a real conversation with them, but to actually have a conversation with them and be able to sit down and eat with them and stuff like that. Like I feel like that was the best part of it, you know, just getting to know them off the court and stuff like that. So I'll just say, like, building a relationship with those guys is definitely, you know, the best part of it.
And I know you value so much the impact that they can have on your games here at the Jordan Center as well. The students can be right behind the benches this year. Definitely. It's going to be an awesome environment. Coach just talked about the impact that the entire fan base can have. How much are you looking forward to getting out here when this place is actually filled instead of today for Media Day?
I'm looking forward to it a lot. I'm so excited about it, you know, just getting the fans back in here, and I'm curious to see how it's going to be with the fans, you know, behind us and stuff like that. You know, going on the road, I could just name a few teams like Illinois and Michigan State, and like a lot of those teams, like their fans just right over you yelling. Like we in the huddle during the media timeout, and they just yelling at Coach Shrews and some of the players, and you know, saying rude stuff, and then like it kind of takes your focus off the game a little bit, but you know, like for us to have that advantage this year as well is definitely, you know, gonna be great.
I'm glad you mentioned Coach Shrews because you go into your 4th year now and you have the familiarity with the same coach from year 3 to year 4. How important is that for you?
I say that's a very important. You know, my first 3 years I played for 3 different coaches, and I had to adjust to each coach differently, and you know, it was a lot for me. I was learning different stuff. Like they all had different roles for me, so trying to adjust to that, you know, was the biggest part for me. But you know, understanding Coach Shrews and what he wants for me, what he has planned for me, and for this team as well, is definitely, you know, a lot easier and way more comfortable going into the season.
He also discussed how important the culture has been with the program, where it was the foundation laid from year 1, and John was obviously a big part of that, but the leaders, yourself included in that, carrying that over to year number 2. What did you do to work on that, improve it, and continue to keep that strong during the offseason?
Yeah, we like just, you know, being a leader on this team with, you know, Jalen Pickett and Miles Dredd, you know, just leading by example for these younger guys, because, you know, they're the future of this program. So just leading by example and, you know, just laying the foundation down for them. And, you know, John laid it down last year. And we just, you know, we picking up where he left off at. So it's just, you know, it's interesting to see how this program is going to be in the future, because Coach Shrews is doing a great job. And, like, we love what he's doing here. And, like, we love his mentality and the way, like, he wants us to play. Because the way we want to play is definitely going to get the job done, you know, and winning especially. So
it's not just the future, it's the present. How do you feel about the group you have going into this year?
I'm excited for this group. I talk to the team, my teammates about it all the time in the locker room. Like, I feel like we really have a very special group. Like we have 15, 16 guys that's bought in, and I feel like that we really have something special. And like everybody feels it. Like we feel it in the gym, like in the locker room, like wherever we go, off the court. Like we just have that bond, that connection with each other. And I'm excited for this team this year.
And you have a lot of flexibility. You have a deep and experienced backcourt. There are so many things when you look at the depth. We talked about this as well with Coach a couple of minutes ago. There are a lot of different ways you can beat an opponent and to prepare and game plan, and they'll have different looks. How do you feel like the depth has really improved with this team, and how's that on display every day in practice?
Yeah, this depth is crazy for this team. And it's on display every single day, because one day I might not be, you know, I might not have the best offensive day, but, you know, one of the freshmen might have a great offensive day. So, like, that just lets our team know that, like, we have guys. Like, we're deep in our bench. I feel like we have, you know, a lot of guys that could really go. I feel like we have multiple guys that can score 20 any given night. So it's going to be very interesting to see this year. And I know every single game is going to be somebody different. And we just have that type of team that's, like, we're not selfish. Like, if I know Funk is going off, I see him hit 2 threes, okay, I'm going to look for Funk the next play, the next possession. So it's like, you know, we just had that type of team and that chemistry with each other that, like, his success is my successes too. So, like, I'm very excited for that.
And part of that being unselfish is being committed at both ends of the floor, something you really improved your game at last year, and you're one of the defensive anchors going into this season. How important is it to take that mentality and share that with your teammates?
Yeah, definitely. I lead by example every single day in practice. Like, every drill, any defensive drill, I'm always first. I just step up. The freshmen watching me, you know, Evan has a lot of potential defensively. So, you know, I talk to him a lot. I talk to Jamil Brown because, you know, he's the same position as well. So, you know, just being a leader for those freshmen and, you know, just showing up every single day and just doing the little drills that people might not want to do, but just doing them with all out energy, you know, giving it my all. So people just watching it, they know that, like, that's going to be the difference to winning. So.
And I know everyone watching right now wants me to ask about that freshman class, 5-member freshman class, the highest ranked recruiting class in Penn State program history. What's impressed you about that group so far?
I could tell that this is the best freshman class Penn State had, because, like, those guys, they show up every single day. you know, they want to get better. That's the big thing with them. Like, they want to get better. Like, they want to learn. Like, they ask me so many questions. They ask Miles so many questions, the coaches so many questions, and you know, it's just very interesting to see. Like, those guys are coming in and watch film as well. They getting extra film, extra lists, and like, that's the little stuff that's gonna make this team so much more better. And you know, I'm excited for those guys, because those guys are very good. They show it every single day as well. And you know, they just keep expanding their game and gonna keep learning and keep getting better.
I'm going to talk to Cam Winter next. What should I ask him?
Cam's a funny guy, so keep it interesting.
All right. Thanks so much, Seth. Really
Thank you,
appreciate
thank
it. Before Cam joins us here on the set, let's take a listen in. He was mic'd up at practice a couple weeks ago.
First shot of the day, clanks.
Oh, they're like, oh, how's my guy Cam?
Hey, man.
Oh, nobody's better.
Yeah, they know I'm the pick and roll demon around here. What's up, sir?
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
1, 2, 3. I let down. I see you, boy. Oh, yeah, bring it back. No, you good. I got up. You got first pass. Hey, get back. All the way back. Stop. I got come on, boy. I see you, boy. Good talk. Oh, yeah, Evan. That one, boy. Stop ball. I got two.
Cam Winter joining us now on our set, one of the newest Nittany Lions. And when you're mic'd up at practice, do you tell the guys beforehand?
I didn't at first, but you know, after it went on, I had to tell them I was mic'd up. It got a little crazy out there. So,
since you stepped on campus, you played last year at Drexel. Since you stepped on campus, how has the experience at Penn State reinforced that this was the right decision to continue your career here in Happy Valley?
Honestly, this journey has been great since I got here. A lot of good guys. Coaching staff has been amazing to me, just teaching me new things. Like, I'm always trying to learn. So I just think that the coaching staff has made the biggest difference, obviously, in me feeling comfortable that I chose the right place.
What is it about that coaching staff? What have you enjoyed so far in building that relationship with Coach Shrewsberry? I know he's big on relationships.
Yeah, I would say just the realness. Like, he's a real guy. He's going to tell you how it is, and like, I appreciate that. And I would say the other assistant coaches, like, they're always willing to help you. They want you to be at your best. So just building that relationship with all those guys on top of Coach Shrewsberry's has been a blessing.
I know there are a lot of Penn State fans out there. They read your biography, they follow your stats, and they see what you've done the last couple of years, but maybe they haven't seen you play yet. What do you feel like you bring to the table for Penn State fans that haven't had a chance to see out on the court yet?
Just a winning mentality, winning attitude, trying to do whatever it takes for us to get that win. Kind of an all-around player, can do a little bit of everything, play hard on both ends, and just a guy that's going to support his teammates.
Averaging over 15 points per game the last 3 seasons for the Dragons down in Philadelphia, and now you get a chance to compete as a part of a really deep and veteran backcourt. How would you describe the group that you're playing with every single day?
Competitive. Competitive is the best word to describe them. Everyone wants to get better. Like, even if somebody's in the gym getting up extra shots, like, we'll see that, and that'll make, like, you get in the gym. We always, like, say, like, you're not going to get better than me today. So I think just keeping that attitude is the biggest thing for our backcourt.
What do you think the potential is of the entire group that you have, your team this year?
I mean, we're set on one thing, winning the Big Ten and going deep in the NCAA tournament. And I think anything less than that, we would see as a failure.
As someone who has played at another program, you have different experiences than a lot of these guys have had. So how do you hope to take those experiences, share some of it with your teammates, but you're also learning from them as to what the foundation is that Coach Shrewsberry laid with his program last year? What's that balance like?
It's actually very interesting, sometimes hard. Obviously, coming from a different program, you're taught different things, different way to do things. So just trying to take those experiences and also take what Coach Shrewsberry is trying to teach me. I'm just trying to give, like, as much knowledge as I can as it relates to our program.
What are you looking forward to most about playing here at Penn State in the BJC and then playing in the Big Ten, which is so tough and rugged every single year?
I would say just the quality of players that you're going to play every night, the competition, and obviously being here, like, the crowd and just playing in front of a whole bunch of Penn State fans that are diehards. So that's what I look forward to the most.
Introduce yourself to our fans a little bit. What was it like growing up? Why'd you go to, how'd you end up here at Penn State? Just give us your background a little bit more for the Penn State fans that are getting to hear from you for the first time today.
Yeah, I'm from Hempstead, New York on Long Island. I went to Holy Trinity High School, Catholic school. I went to Drexel for 4 years, decided to come to Penn State and get my master's degree and do my last year here. I felt really comfortable with the group that we have and just obviously the coaches as a whole and the group that we bring back. So I thought that we could do big things here.
And it's not just about what you want to accomplish on the court, it's in the classroom. What are you getting that master's in?
Educational leadership, kind of shifting it towards like athletic leadership, trying to maybe be a coach one day. I got my undergrad in business, so I have a little bit of multi-background.
Cam, really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Look
Thank
forward
you.
to seeing you on the court wearing the blue and white.
Thank you.
Kevin Jai is going to join us next. Let's check in and listen to him out of practice. He was mic'd up as well.
Oh, you mic'd up. What's up, Kevin?
Say what's up to Penn State men's basketball real quick.
Love you guys.
Gotta love Penn State men's
Oh my
basketball.
gosh, you can hear us.
Oh shoot.
Got you. Come on. Roll on. Hey! Good job, y'all. Good job. Good job, man. Yes, sir. 4. Game, won the game. Let's go. Let's go. Game. Let's go, boy. Come on. Game. Good job, boy. Hell yeah. Come back time. Let's go.
Here on our Media Day Live, we continue with our next guest, Keba Jai, a freshman forward from Centerville, Ohio. And Keba, welcome to Happy Valley.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You come in as a freshman with 4 other guys. To have such a strong freshman class, it's a talented class, but also to make that transition with so many other players going through it.
Mm-hmm.
How has that helped ease the transition to the college game?
Well, honestly, coming here with other people that I could relate to, that's a big part of coming to college. Because, like, if I was the only freshman coming into here, I don't think I would have, came in and got more as comfortable as I did. But, thanks to the other freshman guys and even the older guys who have been here for longer and been in the college game for longer, they've also helped me adjust to becoming.
Well, you set up the next 2 questions beautifully. Number 1, how have the older guys helped you, and what have you learned from them so far?
Yeah, honestly, everything that they have taught me, it relates to school and basketball. Gotta do great in both. So they always tell us to be on time for classes, go to class, turn in your work and all that. And then on the court, they're also giving us great feedback, helping us to get better, telling us things that coach likes to see players do and all that.
Well, you mentioned the other guys you come in with, and I know this was a class that was pretty close even before you stepped on campus. So what is it about this class that you think makes it special and has the potential to be a real foundation for the program moving forward? Because Coach talked about it, Seth just talked about it before, that you guys are the future of the Penn State basketball program.
Yeah. What we all have in common is we are all like tight-knit family guys, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we all work hard, and we have, great character, I believe. And so coming here to Penn State, and if we apply all of those that we learn, I feel like that is what is really going to move the program forward.
What have you learned about your game so far at this level, and what it's going to take to be successful playing in the college game?
There are 2 things that are really important in college basketball, and it is the ability to defend and rebound. And so the 2 biggest things that I've been learning is like the little things on defense, being in the right spot for help, the rotations and all that, and then rebounding is a big key overall in the game.
And part of that is communicating. How important is it, especially on the inside, to communicate with everyone else on the floor?
It's one of the most important things. Communication is key. On offense, on defense, it doesn't matter. Communication is absolutely one of the most important things in the game.
What has been the best part of your Penn State experience so far? Doesn't even have to be on the basketball court. Probably isn't going to be on the basketball court.
There's so much. I would have to say like the amount of support, and help that I've been getting, not only on the court, but like in academics and like my personal life. There's so much resources and people there to help me in everything that I do.
What are you studying?
Business.
Okay, first of all, we have to qualify this. You
Yeah.
want to be a pro basketball player.
Yes, sir.
After that, how do you hope that degree can help you? What do you want to do outside of basketball?
Yeah, so obviously that's my first goal, to be a pro basketball player. But then after that, I want to be able to run businesses and, help the communities, help people who don't have the opportunities that, I've been given. And so my goal is to just help them and give them the opportunities that others have.
For our fans watching us today, what can they expect from you on the court? How would you describe your game to the Penn State fans?
Yeah, I'm going to come in and I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to talk on defense, help my teammates. I'm going to set hard screens. I'm going to roll. I'm going to go after rebounds. And I'm just going to be playing hard.
We heard you talking there on that mic'd up piece. That was from the summer, I think.
Yeah, it was.
It's a long time. I always say this with basketball in particular. There's a long time from when you start workouts to when you actually get to play in a game. I know you have some scrimmages, but how excited are you to finally have a chance in front of a crowd here in 2 weeks to play someone besides your teammates?
It's really exciting. It's honestly like a feeling that I've been hoping for, something that, you watch as a kid, first college games and all that. And so it's something that I'm really excited and looking forward to.
Who'd you grow up watching as a kid? Who's your favorite?
Kevin Durant. That's my favorite.
Do you have some KD in your game? You can hope, right?
Yeah. We can only hope.
You can only hope.
I guess we'll see.
It was great to meet you. Really
Yes, sir.
appreciate the time, but can't wait to see you on the court.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Andrew Funk is going to join us next. Check this out first.
I really make shots in this arena, Seth. I gave you a buckets, remember? Sophomore year? We lost by 20, but I was giving buckets. Hey! And one! With the mic. With the mic! I gotta clip my John back on. Damn, fouling me.
Yes, sir, Buck. Heat up, Buck.
3, 4, one more. That's 5. That's 5. Boom! Let's go. The best shooters in the gym. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What did they think was gonna happen?
You had a partner. Like, can I get some credit?
What did they think was gonna happen?
Penn State guard Andrew Funk with us now here on our set as we continue on our 2022-2023 Penn State Basketball Media Day Live. I heard the word John in there. That's a Philly term.
Yep.
What does it mean?
Anything. It can mean anything you want it to be, which is why it's thrown around a lot.
So are you a Philly sports fan?
Through and through.
Times are good right now.
Times are incredible. I keep waiting for someone to pinch me because I think I'm going to wake up from a dream. But it's awesome. It's a great time.
Obviously, you had the option to continue your career in many places, so you select Penn State with the hopes and dreams that it's everything you hope. How has the Penn State experience gone so far, and why was it? Why is it reinforced that it was the right decision for you, the right fit?
Yeah, it's been incredible. I've been saying, I would look back 6 months and I would never expect to be as comfortable as I am here right now. And that's a combination of a lot of things. Obviously, coach and the guys at the staff and the players here have been a huge part of that. Just the way they've welcomed me. Obviously, I'm only going to be here for 1 year, but just the fact that I'm here, they welcome me with open arms and the kind of environment that they've created. So I think that's been a driving factor of it. And then just the overall Penn State experience has been incredible. This place is amazing.
Culture is always a word that I think people think it's cliche, but it really is not. There's so much value in that. What is it about the culture that allowed you to step right in, but also be a part of that culture from the get-go?
Yeah, I think culture's, the best way I define it is it's every day. It's everyday habits. It's what you guys do every day. And I think that's the best way to describe us is that we come in every day and we want to be consistent in the way that we compete and the way that we work. And that starts at the top with Coach Shrews and works its way all the way down. So I think that's kind of where I fit right in is that I'm trying to be the most consistent person I can and bring the same Andrew Funk every day so that people know what they're getting out of me.
You knew, and Coach talked about this, that last year you averaged over 17.5 points at Bucknell, and you were the focal point of the offense. What has it been like to learn what your role is going to be here and knowing that you're going to have an important role on the court, but also it's going to be a little bit different than the role you served last year?
Yeah, that was definitely something that me and Coach have talked about, and it's refreshing to play with a lot of the players that I'm playing with right now. Obviously, last year, like you said, it was a bit of a different year for me at Bucknell. I was the only senior on the team. We were kind of working through with some inexperience, but now I'm playing with guys like Jalen Pickett and Cam Winter, who have scored 1,500 points in their college career. So it's really cool to kind of get that different perspective. And I think the biggest thing is that I came here to win, and they're all here to win. And so we don't care who's scoring the points, and we don't care who's doing this and that or whose name's in the headlines. As long as we're on top at the end, I think that's what we're all focused on, which kind of makes us all special.
That's a pretty darn good backcourt with some of the names you start mentioning right there. How would you describe the talent that you have and the potential on any given night where the matchups could dictate? It could be a different guy putting up the big numbers and doing things on the offensive and defensive end. Like, what kind of potential does that group lend this team to have here going into the season?
Yeah, no, I think it's kind of, it has no ceiling, to be honest with you, because as we said, the production and the experience that we bring, and bringing Seth back and Miles being here for 5 years, and even Dalian Johnson, who started a bunch of games last year. So it's just something that, as long as we all buy into the fact that we're all here to win, and we don't care who's the one that's going to be doing it, this group's going to be really special.
How's your shooting touch been so far? Coach said in his press conference he looked down at he thought you had a bad day shooting, and he looked down at the stats one day, and you were still 4 for 9. Do you feel comfortable shooting in that gym?
Yeah, I do. I feel very comfortable, and I think that's also a testament to the guys that I'm playing with too. We kind of talked about playing with a lot of talented players and the kind of clean looks that I've been able to get off. So I feel very comfortable, and the coaches, they tell me to let it fly, and I'm going to keep letting it fly until they tell me not to, which I think is a big part of the confidence that I have in it.
You mentioned your role last year as an older guy, the only senior, bringing along freshmen and younger players. How does that now continue into this year at Penn State with such a talented and a large freshman class here too?
Yeah, no, it's cool because they're a special group, and they make it really easy on us, I think is the big thing. They come in willing to learn, ready to go every single day, and that makes our job as older guys a lot easier. Is that we kind of just want to show them the habits that we have so they can kind of have something to work off of and make sure that we're always leading by example with them. But like I said, they make it really easy on us with how much they're ready to work every day.
How many games is the World Series going, and how many games is it going to take for the Phillies to win it?
I like it ending in Citizens Bank Park in 5. I want the bedlam at the bank again, baby.
It was awesome. I can tell you, it was awesome. Andrew, thanks so much.
Yeah,
really appreciate it. He talks about Philadelphia. Let's take a look at that 2022-2023 Penn State basketball schedule. Speaking of Philly, there is Purdue on the 8th of January at the Palestra, one of the great college basketball venues. Penn State and Purdue tickets going on sale November 8th for the game coming up on January 8th at the Palestra in Philadelphia. Now we're joined to wrap up our Media Day live show by a familiar face here for Nittany Lion fans, Miles Dredd. You were saying Phillies in 4? Is that what you were saying?
That's what I was saying. I was in the background. Yeah, I got Phillies in 4, man.
Miles, what is it like to be around this group every day in practice? Coach talked about how motivated, how driven everyone's been, the level of competition, the depth on the team. How would you describe the roster you have this year?
I mean, it's amazing. Like every day we have somebody that's pushing you to get better. And, nobody's afraid to, go out there and be the best version of themselves. And everybody wants to succeed. Everybody wants the team to win. And I think that cultivates kind of a competitive nature that is instilled in everybody that translates to the game.
And being the best version of yourself doesn't mean you have to be the one guy being the show. That there's a balance there between being confident, being aggressive, but also being unselfish. How important is that for a team where you have so many options going into the year?
I mean, it's almost like it's like a kid in a candy store, like we got so many options to score, and we got such great defenders. Like it makes your job so much easier that it makes it easy for you to be a star in your role.
And that's important too, because going through a Big Ten, if you're playing 35, 38 minutes a night, that can be rugged. How will the depth help this team throughout the course of a grueling schedule?
I mean, like you said, nobody has to play that many minutes. We got guys that can come in and give guys relief, and the level of play won't drop. And that's, I think, the biggest thing.
You've been a contributor since you stepped on campus day one. What do you want to accomplish here in your last year?
I want to win. And I'm going to leave that term very open, but I want to win at all levels. That's the main thing.
How do you take that and share that with your teammates and help them put the entire team in a position to succeed and win?
I've been a lot more of a vocal leader this year, and I think, me, Seth, and Pickett kind of stepped into that leadership role. And doing that, having that competitive nature every day in practice, pushing each other, not being afraid to, be right or wrong, like just learning from each other, I think that is going to help us in the long run.
How about the continuity with Coach Shrewsberry from year 1 to year 2? How important is that, and how have you seen that pay off so far in practice?
It's great. We kind of know what Coach is expecting. We know, what kind of effort we need to give every single day, and it's paid dividends to how much better each and every one of us has gotten.
What questions do you field here at Media Day that you're tired of answering? Everyone from me, right? Yeah.
Nah.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
I don't have any. I think, they're all very warranted questions, and I'm happy to answer all of them.
No, I'm kidding. The reason I asked that is you've been through this once or twice now.
Yeah.
You've been through this once or twice.
Yeah.
And I think the cool thing about it is there's so much that you take maybe as a freshman, right? And this is probably what you're sharing with the freshmen, that you take some things for granted when you start your college experience.
No question.
And I talked about this with Sean Clifford, 6-year quarterback. And when you're out here, your last season, when you know it's your last year, even little things like this that may seem mundane at times, this is the thing you enjoy it all your last time around, right? Like you enjoy each of these experiences as you go through it one last time.
Absolutely. Like, especially me coming off of an injury all summer most of the time, like, I told my trainers, I told Coach, I'm like, I'm not sitting out for anything. Like, even if you want me to, we need to rest. Like, have me do something. Like, you're going to have to, steal my shoes from me, and I'm going to have to play in socks or something before I sit out, because I'm enjoying every single day, and I'm having a blast.
How does that mentality, then, do you hope as a leader carry over to the rest of your teammates?
I want them to see it, and I want them to have that same hunger to win.
And then the next time you're in this building, well, maybe not you, but the next time we'll be in this building is going to be filled on November 7th.
Absolutely.
What's it like playing in front of the great Penn State fans? And what's your message to those Penn State fans going into this season?
It's amazing. I see so many familiar faces, and, it makes me happy every time I see them. And I think the main message I have for the Penn State fans is bring the noise. We need you guys, and, your presence is missed. You see all the seats down. It looks pretty empty in here. It gets quiet sometimes when we're in here practicing, but that energy that you guys bring is second to none.
How did you feed off that before the season got shut down in 1920 when this place was packed? How did you feed off that?
Man, like, it was, we had a level of confidence. Like, we had one of the best away environments for other teams to come in and play against, and that gave us even a bigger chip on our shoulder to go out there and perform for you guys.
Can't wait to see that again this year. Miles,
Yes,
this is awesome. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you.
Our Media Day live here at 2022-2023 at the Jordan Center. As you see, the Penn State team was getting some shots up moments ago. They're still talking to the media off to the left side of our screen as we're looking at it at tables down there. Each of the individuals out here today. So the Penn State basketball season is just 13 days away. As you take a look one last time at that Nittany Lion basketball schedule, it all starts with 3 straight home games. Winthrop taking on Loyola Maryland and Butler, the 7th, the 10th, and the 14th. Your first opportunity to look at Micah Shrewsberry's team in the 2022-2023 season. You'll also have a chance to look at them tomorrow at the East Halls Court for students. If you're watching our stream today, students especially, the Shrews Slamma Jamma at the East Hall Courts tomorrow at 7 p.m. October 26th. Meet the team, free food, contest, so much more. They'll be out there having a good time, so you can get a look at the 2022-2023 Penn State men's basketball team. And speaking of tomorrow, we'll be back with you as we shift gears from basketball to football with the Unrivaled Weekly Preview Show coming to you live from the Lash Building. Hopefully we can check in live at Shrews Slamma Jamma tomorrow during our Unrivaled Weekly Preview Show. That begins around 6:30. Hear from head coach James Franklin and student athletes as well, as it's the Unrivaled Weekly Preview Show tomorrow. But there's a look at the Jordan Center. It's Media Day here for the Penn State men's basketball team. Their season begins 13 days from today. Thank you so much for tuning into today's programming. Great work, as always, by Ross Woomer, Matt Wagner, Sean McDermott, all coordinating things on the back end. Appreciate their hard work, as always. But most of all, we appreciate you for tuning in to our program today. I'm Brian Tripp saying so long from the BJC. Penn State basketball is just 13 days away. Hope you learned something today. We'll talk to you next time.
I got a whole lot of good players, man. Do what you do and be a star at that.
Gritty, not pretty. That's who we want to be.
Pickett has to shoot at the wire. Does. Got it. And Johnson for 3. Let's go. Fabulous play.
That's all it is. It's pure effort, heart, determination, and love for Penn State.
Dredd steps back, waits, fires the three. It's gone! The Lions win it!
Make Penn State proud.
And Penn State clicking on all cylinders, up a dozen.
This joint loves it. Now they go for three in the lead. Lundy gone. Penn State's in front.